Namaskar, hello and a very warm welcome to CIET NCERT's live phone and interactive program. My name is Tanvi Khurana and here we are with an English class where we are going to discuss the poem The Shed. It's written by Frank Flynn and we are going to understand and appreciate the poem. It's already there in your textbooks, and if you have not studied it yet, if you have not read it yet, then please be a participant in this program. You can raise your questions, you can ask your questions. If you have understood the poem, you can share your feedback. What do you think about this poem, and what is the one thing that you liked the most about this poem? So this is for all the 7th class students. You're watching us on eVidya channel number 7 and also on our YouTube channel, that is NCERT Official. In the live chat box, you can raise your queries, your questions and share them with us. There are multiple methods through which you can connect with us. If you want to give us a call, the number would be 8800440559. And if you want to email us, the email ID would be dth.class7@ciet.nic.in. We have a guest with us and she'll be explaining this poem in detail, and let me please introduce to you, and she is Miss Poonam Kapoor. Ma'am, a very warm welcome.
Hello Tanvi, thank you so much.
Yes, ma'am, I should thank you actually for being a part of this program and for giving me and all the viewers your time. So ma'am is a freelancer and she'll be describing this poem with each and every stanza. So before we begin this discussion, and I'm very excited about discussing this poem, I have an announcement to make, that is regarding G20 presidency. We are extremely proud of the fact that India assumed G20 presidency and would convene the G20 Leaders Summit for the first time in the country this year, that is 2023. A nation deeply committed to democracy and multilateralism, India's G20 presidency would be a watershed moment in her history, as it seeks to play an important role by finding global pragmatic solutions for the well-being of all, and in doing so manifest its true spirit of Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam, or should I say the world is one family. Vasudhaiva Kutumbakam also translates to one earth, one family, one future, and that is exactly the theme of this year's India's G20 presidency. So let's just begin the discussion on the poem The Shed by Frank Flynn. My first question to ma'am would be, ma'am, the title says The Shed. So we would like to understand the literal meaning of this term, The Shed.
See, the literal meaning of the shed, Tanvi, is a hut,
Okay.
a small hut, a out home,
Okay.
isn't it? A shack which is built outside the house to store things which are not regularly used in the house, in the household, because there are so many things, tools, vehicles, bikes, motorcycles, then your cattle which can be kept in the shed, and the shed is an important part of your house, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So, and children really use it to play hide and seek, isn't it? So, this is a beautiful poem, and today class 7 children, you are going to read, learn, enjoy and appreciate this beautiful poem in your honey book, textbook. It is 3rd poem in your syllabus, and let's start with that. I am sure that you have understood the meaning of shed. It is a small room, a storehouse, a storeroom which is used for dumping, household stuff which is not frequently used. So, that is the surplus items of the house, isn't it?
Absolutely. Okay. So, ma'am, we need to think about a lot of ways in which one can use the shed. You have described a few. Can we have a look at the presentation to understand this better?
Yes. See, what is the purpose the shed is used for? Now, a shed is a small room, and it is a temporary, it may be a temporary structure made up of wood or any material, thatch also. So, in which you keep garden tools, equipments, isn't it, and cattle, and in shed which the items which are not regularly used in the house. So, Tanvi, you must have seen the shed.
Yes.
Please tell me which is the common insect that is found in the shed.
I think the very common one is spider.
It is the spider, correct. Spider is the most common insect that can be seen inside the shed, isn't it?
Yes.
So now let's move on to the poem. So this poem is talking about the shed, and where is the shed located, and what type of poem is this, you are going to understand while doing the poem. There are two characters in the poem. One, the speaker, the poet, the speaker or the narrator, you can say it is in the form of an experience, isn't it? So here goes the poem. Let's explore what is kept in this shed.
Right.
And why is this shed by Frank Flynn very important? There is a shed at the bottom of a garden with a spider's web hanging across the door. The hinges are rusty and creak in the wind. When I am in bed, I lie and I listen. I'll open that door one day. So, in this poem, as you can see that this shed is located at the end of the garden. At the bottom of a garden, it is at the end of the garden, and with the spider's web. And as you said that the most common insect found inside the shed is spider. The door of the shed is locked. See, with the spider's web hanging across the door, there is a big spider web hanging above the door. It has cobwebs, isn't it? So the hinges are rusty. The hinges, the joints, the metal joints in the door, they are rusty. Why they are rusty? Why they are rusty? Rusty is adverb. See, rusty. They are covered with a layer of rust.
Okay.
Isn't it? They are rusty, they are dirty, they are rusty, they are dirty, and why they are rusty and dirty? Because they are very old. They are very old, and they make a creaking sound. When the wind blows, they produce a creaking, very unpleasant sound when the wind blows. So the shed seems to be very old with rusty and dirty hinges, and it seems it has never been opened, or it has been opened, it has not been opened from quite some time. So the poet here is curious to know, I'll open that door one day. She is very curious to open the door and peep inside what is there, which produces sound and sometimes moves also.
Okay.
So
because the door, the creak, the entire shed is very old, that's the reason that the hinges are rusty?
yes, that is the reason. And where is this shed located? Where is this shed?
At the bottom of the garden?
It is at the bottom of the garden, at the end of the garden.
Yeah.
What do the hinges of the door, why do the hinges of the door creak?
Because they are old, they are rusty.
They are old and they are rusty. And what is this shed used for?
For just keeping old things,
yeah,
storing
old things, isn't it? Why does the narrator wish to open the door one day? Out of
curiosity.
And hinges means the metal parts, joints on the door.
Right. Ma'am, you also mentioned that there's a cobweb in that shed. So what exactly is cobweb?
Cobweb is the web. It is woven by the spider himself, in which it lives.
Oh, okay.
Isn't it?
So that's his house.
His house. Spider web or the cobweb is hanging above the door of the shed.
Okay.
Yes. And then now, in the first passage, in the first stanza, you have seen the poet has created a scary scene, that there is a shed and the hinges are rusty, they are very old, it produces screaming sound, isn't it? And then let's move on to stanza 2. There is a dusty old window around at the side with 3 cracked panes of glass. I often think there's someone staring at me each time that I pass. I'll peep through that window one day. So, see, the scary atmosphere has already been built, and now the second paragraph again creates some terror. It frightens you, isn't it? On one side of the shed is an old window. It is covered with dust.
Right.
There are 3 window panes, and all the 3 window panes are broken. They are not adequately maintained. Isn't it? So, 3 window panes which are cracked, they are broken. The poet thinks that someone is staring without blinking your eyes, somebody is looking at you. So,
In the scariest manner.
in the scariest, it is looking at you, and whenever she goes, whenever the poet's sister or brother, whenever he or she goes, it seems that somebody is staring at the outsider. So, this seems to be ghost story, mysterious, isn't it? So, out of curiosity, once again I will peep through that window one day. Out of curiosity, the poet promises that he would definitely go inside the shed and to see what is there that screams and what is kept inside the shed.
Right. So, ma'am, when we are talking about this speaker who is curious and he wants to go to the shed one day, not just today, one day.
One day, hopefully.
Yeah. So, we would like to imagine that how old is this speaker?
How old is the speaker? This is a very good question. It is nowhere mentioned in the poem how the age of the speaker, but yes, the speaker seems to be a child. The speaker is definitely a child.
Okay, as in less than 10 years?
Yeah, you can say, isn't it?
That's a wild imagination he is using there.
Yeah. So, what is the condition of the window?
Broken.
It is broken, isn't it?
Yeah.
What does the poet often think?
That he will
Sometimes
one day enter the shed.
Enter the shed and have a look inside. What will the poet do one day? He will go inside the shed. And often, see, there was a word here, often. I often think, what is the opposite of, antonym of often? Because we take language in along with the grammar items also, isn't it? So, what is the opposite antonym of often? It is never. I never think. I often think, I never think. There is someone staring at me. Staring means looking at the poet without blinking the eyes.
Okay. Ma'am, can hardly be the antonym of
Yes,
often?
yes, hardly, often, hardly, never, seldom,
Seldom.
very rare, rarely, isn't it? Correct. So, now, what does the word peep mean? Peep. Peep means to look inside. Look inside the window and see what is there that produces creaking sound. Where are the spiders? What all is kept inside the shed?
Yes.
Isn't it? So, now let us move on to the third stanza, which is my brother. See, one thing you must notice that all these stanzas are written within the inverted commas.
Yes.
Isn't it? My brother says there is a ghost in the shed. Now there is no scope of escape. The puri mystery, the whole mystery story, the scary scene has been created. My brother says there is a ghost in the shed who hides under the rotten floorboards, and if I ever dare to set foot inside, he'll jump out and chop off my head. But I'll take a peek one day. So, the brother of the poet tells him that there is a ghost, there lives a ghost in the storeroom who hides under the old floorboards which are broken.
Right.
Isn't it? So, the brother is trying to frighten him, isn't it? He tells him or he tells her, brother or sister, that she must never try to enter into that room because the ghost will attack and break her head, isn't it? But the reality is different.
Yes.
The reality is that he does not want anyone should come inside that shed because he uses it as a hiding place while playing hide and seek.
Oh.
Isn't it? So, this girl, but again this word but says the girl is determined, the girl or the sibling, the boy or brother or sister, he is determined, but I will take a peek one day, that she is determined to look inside the shed one day sometimes, isn't it?
Yes.
So these were the 3 stanza, and now let's move on to the questions. Now who is the speaker? The narrator, the poet himself. What does the brother tell the speaker?
That if you peep into the shed, the ghost will jump, attack, and will chop your head.
And he is forbidding him not to go inside the
Yes,
shed. Where does the ghost hide? Under the
Floorboards.
floorboards. ये जो फर्श है ना, फ्लोर के बोर्ड्स हैं वो भी टूटे फूटे उसके नीचे. What does the speaker want? That no one should come inside the shed. And what quality of the speaker is revealed in these lines? What is the quality of the speaker? Boldness.
Boldness.
One day, inverted commas, one day I must go inside. Let ghost be there.
Yeah.
But I must go. And the concluding paragraph, the 4th paragraph, I know that there isn't really a ghost. My brother tells lies to keep the shed for his den. There isn't anyone stirring or making strange noises, and the spider has been gone from his web. Since I don't know when, I'll go into that shed one day soon, but not just yet. So, here the poet knows that her brother is a liar. She has come to know that it is all lies. There is no ghost inside the shed, and he says so because the shed is the only hiding place. He uses it as a hiding place for him when they are playing hide and seek. Nobody is looking at her. Nobody is screaming, making noise. Even the spider has gone from the web. And the spider has been gone from his web. There is no one inside the shed. The narrator has made up her mind to walk into the shed. She is really curious to know what is inside the shed, but not just yet. But she is not in a hurry. Sometimes I would go. Someday I'll definitely go and find out who lives in the shed.
Ma'am, I have a question here.
Yeah.
So, how do we know that the narrator, the speaker, is a girl and not a boy?
See, that's what I am saying, that the speaker, the poet himself is speaker, na?
Right.
Isn't it? He is a masculine. He is masculine.
Okay.
The sibling can be the boy, can be the girl. Okay. And this poem shows the playful rivalry.
Rivalry, right.
Isn't it? Between the siblings, the brothers and the sisters, isn't it? You want to avail all the good things and you want the other one to be deprived of, isn't it? So, we have seen that there are 2 main characters here. One is the poet himself, the other one is the brother. And we can assume that this can be the sister also. And you have seen throughout the poem, the mood is fearful and curiosity. Fearful. The brother is frightened, trying to frighten the sister, and curiosity on the part of the sister or brother to have a look inside the shed sometimes, isn't it?
Yes.
So, we have seen some words also here. Who told the girl about the ghost or the boy about the ghost? His own brother.
Yeah, brother.
What could be his motive?
To keep the sibling away from his shed.
Yes, nobody should come to know of his hiding place, of his haunt, isn't it?
Yeah.
And what does she decide?
That she will enter the shed one day, it's just not today.
I really wish all the students should be like you. What does the last line show? That she is not in a hurry. She is not in a hurry to enter the shed, but one day she must, isn't it? And what is the meaning of den?
Shed.
Shed, hiding place, isn't it? So, there is another meaning that you have told, den is shed.
Right.
Isn't it? Place to hide. Now, let us quickly recapitulate what we have done here, and then we will come to the main idea and the model of the poem.
Okay.
So, I hope you will try to answer.
I will.
Isn't it? So, there is a small, you will tell me the fill in the blanks. Isn't it? There is a small shed at the end of the
garden.
At the end of the garden, yes. The door of this shed is
creaked.
It is broken. The door of the shed is old, rusty.
Old, rusty.
Isn't it? It has dash over the door.
Hinge.
Hinge or cobweb over the door. The iron hinges of the door are dash and dash.
Rusty.
They are rusty and they are
Dirty.
They make dash sound, they
Creaking.
make creaking sound when the wind blows. The poet is curious to open the door and see what is dash there. What is
Inside.
inside there? On one side of the shed there is an old dash covered with old
Old
window.
window.
Yeah, old window covered with dust.
Dust.
It has dash glass panes.
Broken.
And how many? 3. Yes, it has 3 glass window panes and they are all broken. The narrator feels someone is dash at her.
Peeking.
Yes, staring at her.
Staring.
Isn't it? Staring at her, and out of the curiosity she wants to look through that dash one day.
Hole.
Through that hole, through that window one day, yes. Her brother tells her that there is a dash in that store.
Ghost.
Ghost in that store room. He is trying to dash her.
Scare her.
Scare her, frighten her, but the girl is dash enough.
Determined.
Determined, she is bold enough. She is dash to look into the shed.
Curious.
She is curious, she is determined to look into the shed. The little girl knows her brother is a
Liar.
liar. There is liar, L-I-A-R. The brother is a liar. There is no ghost in the
Shed.
He wants to use the shed as his
Den.
den. Yes, correct. So, I am sure, Tanvi, as you have understood the poem, the other students might, they have also understood the poem.
Absolutely.
So, what is the mood of the poet in this poem? It is fearful and it is
Scary.
curious, scary, yes. So, what have you understood from the poem?
That the siblings are fighting and they know each other very well.
Yes.
Who is lying, who is
How
not.
to take the advantage of their sibling.
And you
and
also
then
get to know that there's a shed which is dirty.
in a pathetic condition,
Yes.
isn't it? And finally, the poet is able to overcome his
Fears.
Now, we have seen that the first stanza creates the scary atmosphere. The second and the third seems to be again terrifying. The brother is trying to terrify, scare and create fear. And in the fourth one, the presence of ghost, rotten floorboards and action of chopping the head. This again creates mystery and a very scary atmosphere, isn't it? But the poet, sibling is able to understand that there is no ghost, so he would soon go inside the
Shed.
And this poem ends on a positive optimist note that he must go inside the shed and have a peep inside.
So can we say that the speaker at the end of the poem is excited and he has overcome his fear despite his brother telling him all the lies?
And that is the main idea of this poem, rationality, and the fearlessness. And it gives a very important message to the children that they should not believe in the stories, imaginative stories about the ghosts. These stories in fact are used by the people for their own selfish motives.
Yes.
Now here on the smaller level, but sometimes on the very higher level also. Here the purpose is only to play and nobody should come to know of the hiding place, isn't it? So we should not believe in baseless and imaginative stories about ghosts. These stories are only used, manipulative, isn't it? So one must be courageous. Another message that it conveys is to be courageous and bold enough, and that is how the narrator overcomes his fear and understands there is no ghost in the shed.
Right.
Hope you have understood the poem.
Absolutely.
You have enjoyed it?
Enjoyed it, loved it, and the way you narrated it was so beautiful.
How nice. And now I'll give you homework also,
Okay.
isn't it?
Yes.
You have to draw a shed on your notebook, one thing. Then after drawing the shed, you will write down the poem, all the 4 stanzas of the poem, and then recite this poem loudly 2 to 3 times. And you will enjoy the music. That is for sure. I can vouch. Isn't it? And then you have to make sentences also of the words I am giving you. The first word is dusty, adverb. Dust is adjective and y is added, so it becomes adverb. Dusty, creaked. These words will add to your active vocabulary, use them in a sentence. Then another one is hinges. Hinges, these are the new words that you have learned here. And the last but not the least is cracked. These are the 4 words I have given you. You will use them in a sentence of your own and make these words part of your vocabulary.
Wonderful. So I'm sure we'll be receiving the answers, the homework very soon from all the viewers, and because it's an English poem, I think they are all going to enjoy it while reading it again and again.
I wish my students happy learning.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am, for being a part of this program. It was wonderful having you, and just enjoyed a lot. And just like me, I think our viewers also enjoyed a lot.
Yes, the students of class 7, they really enjoy reading poems, and
Yes.
this must be part of their first term syllabus.
Yes.
No?
We just didn't read the poem, we understood the poem and we appreciated the poem.
That's the main purpose.
That is. Thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you, Tanvi. It was nice class 7 students to be with you.
Thank you. Thank you to all the children as well for being with us today. It was wonderful having ma'am here, and she explained all the stanzas so neatly, so much in detail, that I really enjoyed knowing about this shed and how one can be bold enough to overcome his fear at the end of the day. So this was all about The Shed by Frank Flynn, and I hope you also have enjoyed this poem. If in case you have missed watching this program, you can watch it on NCRT Official, that is our YouTube channel. Please stay here, keep on watching eVidya channels. Our upcoming program is a social science class for all the 7th class children, and the topic for discussion would be understanding media. Stay here, keep your questions ready, and keep on sharing them with us as well. Before I leave, let me tell you that if you have not purchased NCRT textbooks for this new academic year, that is 2023-2024, then please purchase it. There are multiple ways through which you can purchase these books. Either you can go to the sales counter directly, which are available in New Delhi, Bangalore, Ahmedabad, Kolkata and Guwahati. From 9:30 to 6 p.m. these sales counters will be open, and you can directly go them on any of the days, be it a Saturday, a Sunday or a gazetted holiday. You can buy these books on your own. If you just want to download the PDF versions with the watermark version, you can do that from NCRT Diksha or ePathshala website or their mobile applications. And third option is you can place an order through our website, that is ncrtbooks.ncrt.gov.in. Just place an order and you'll be receiving the books at your doorstep in no time, and you don't have to pay anything extra, no delivery charge at all. If you want to know more about our authorized vendors, that ncrt.nic.in is the website. You will get all the information on this website. So I really hope that you're going to buy these books very soon. For now, we're wrapping up this particular program, but we have a lot of programs for you in the rest of the day. So keep on watching eVidya channels. I'm Tanvi Khurana. I'll take a leave of you. Take care. Have a happy day ahead. Namaskar.
Wonderful.